Hi, and welcome back to Watch Read, a sporadic series where I recommend you books and reading materials based on our shared interest in shows or movies. This episode is about Wynonna Earp, one of my favorite shows ever on television, and if I time my upload schedule right, it comes back tonight, July 20th. So without further ado, let's get into it. Wynonna Earp is not based on a book, it is based on a comic book series, so my first suggestion would be to read that comic book series. I actually haven't read it, but I have bought some, so maybe I'll get to them. Wynonna Earp is also an example of the Weird West genre. Do you remember that movie from our childhood, The Wild Wild West, with Will Smith and Salma Hayek? Yeah, that was Weird West. Weird West is where you combine westerns, and a western setting in particular, with pretty much any other genre of media. Horror, occult, sci-fi, fantasy, steampunk. Whatever you want, you can mix it up together and it's Weird West. So I would suggest looking into lists of Weird West books and looking for one that appeals to you. One of those, and the first thing that I wrote down that wasn't Wynonna Earp comics, is Pretty Deadly. I cannot explain to you what Pretty Deadly is about, because it's about a lot of things. There's multiple storylines that weave together and do tie in, but it's complicated. It's complex. But let me tell you this. It involves a child in a vulture suit, a blind man, reapers, a personification of death himself, a bunny and a butterfly, and a character called Deathface Jeanni. And if that doesn't entice you, that's cool. It's not everybody's cup of tea. The next item on my list is Graveminder by Melissa Marr. This is a prose novel, and it was published in 2011. It's about a woman, Rebecca, who comes home to her hometown for her grandmother's funeral, only to find that her grandmother's strange funeral rituals have a good reason. Her family, the women in her family specifically, have been tasked with keeping the dead in Claysville in their graves, and putting them back if they come out. I read it right after it came out, and it was really enjoyable. Like most of Melissa Marr's work, it's on the darker side and it's a little weird, but that's kind of what we want right now, right? That's exactly what makes it good for this episode. Next, I would suggest, of course, American Gods by Neil Gaiman. By this point, we probably all know what it's about, but basically a fight between old gods and new gods, and the human man, Shadow, caught in between. It was really good, and I recommend getting the full cast audio if you can. There's a lot more to Wynonna Earp than just the revenants, including demons and potentially gods, and I think that pairs well with American Gods. While they don't tackle the same exact kind of creatures, I think that it has a similar vibe to Wynonna Earp. I would also suggest two webcomics, Goth Western and Gunpowder and Pine. Goth Western is a weird western, and there is something magical, and I'm pretty sure, I haven't gotten to this point yet because I'm still pretty early on in it, but I'm pretty sure somebody tries to bring somebody else back from the dead. Gunpowder and Pine is Katie L. Wood's webcomic. We're only 15 pages in, so it won't be hard for you to catch up. It's about, as she puts it, grumpy asexual mountain people and hunting supernatural creatures. I also have a tentative addition to this list. Tentative because I haven't read these books, so I don't have that experience, and the things I have read by this author were not so great. The suggestion is Midnight Texas and that series by Charlaine Harris. It's about a town in Texas where there's a lot of supernatural creatures. Midnight Texas, that's the town. I suggest it because I liked the TV show that was on last year and I think is coming back, and it felt kind of similar to the vibe I get from Wynonna Earp. I was not happy with the finale. Fiji should have had a more active role. That's all I'm going to say about it because I can go on an hour-long rant, but the show I liked. I haven't read the books, and the other things that I have read by Charlaine Harris I didn't enjoy that much, but I really love the premise of these books and the premise of this series. So maybe I might listen to it on audiobook. I don't know yet. I'll keep you updated. That's all I've got. My camera battery's dying, so we're gonna wrap this up. All July, I'm doing a video project where I upload 3 videos a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, so watch this space. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well. Bye.